Hi, everybody. Life has made an interesting turn. This lovely woman called Teresa invited me for coffee here. She was very touched by the dog, and we talked about possibility of working with elderly people. She's 91 years old. She came from Germany during the Holocaust to England through something called the Kindertransport, which is a very interesting story. She didn't want to talk about the Holocaust, and I respected that. But she invited me for a coffee and to sit here by the ocean. And she told me that just recently she had like a stroke and she can't walk. She was with a wonderful woman from India. We exchanged numbers, and I promised her I would visit her in the elderly people facility she lives in. The good news is that where she lives, the elderly people can bring their pets. She has a cat who lives with her, and I think it's so wonderful. And she says she cannot live without animals. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. And it's not for granted that somebody just invites me for coffee to sit by the ocean. And lately I've been meeting good people. And lately I've been meeting all sorts of people that restore my faith in humanity. I've had a very bad experience in the school, and then I have a good experience. And it reminds me that Erich Kästner, the big children's book writer, the German children's book writer. My English is all over the place. Erich Kästner, who wrote a lot of very interesting, important, and lovely children's books, said that, I don't know if it begins with low or high, but he said, human beings can go very low, but they can also go very high. You can also start this saying by saying humanity can go very high, but they can go very low. I think I was talking about the times of the rising of the Nazis, and we can see that human beings can go so high. We can help each other. We can invite a stranger to share our coffee and our time with. Her time on earth is not for granted. That a 91-year-old woman wanted to sit down and talk with me is not something I take for granted. That she wanted to listen to me and help me is not something I take for granted at all. And I think our society doesn't respect elderly people enough. Society does not value, especially this society, the wisdom of the elderly, their life experience. What this woman had gone through is history. To go through the Holocaust, to come to England during World War II, to come to Israel, to raise a family. This woman has so much to teach, but yet people are not interested in elderly people. They shove them aside with a helper, and I think maybe this is what I need to be. If teaching children doesn't provide me a living, I can't make a living teaching children English, maybe I should just think on a wider scale. I appreciate elderly people. I love their life experience. The short time during which I worked with elderly people was not a happy time for me, but elderly people are like everywhere else. You have different types. Not all the elderly people are the same. Not all the young people are the same. Not all the schools are the same. But I will not work for 3,500 shekels. My education is worth more than that. I don't understand why they pay doctors and engineers so much, but yet the most important job in society of teaching is less than a cleaning person. And talking to Teresa made me conclude what Teresa said: take care of yourself. Make sure you have enough to live off, and not be willing to compromise for a sub-starvation salary. I'm not willing to compromise anymore. And I want to go to a place that appreciates all my passion, all my skills, and appreciate me. And I want to be with people who appreciate me. And I wish for you to be with people that appreciate for you today, and with animals that you appreciate you. Right, Shoshana? Where's Shelby? Yeah. We're in a wonderful, wonderful corner. And you know what? Maybe I'll continue to sit here. This is a wonderful place. I'm sure the coffee here is more expensive than Aroma, but I love this place. Just the music is a little bit too much. But peace, light, and love. As I sit and watch the waves of the ocean, I feel so fortunate to be here. And I think of how horrible it was in the morning before Teresa came in my life and showed me that I'm a worthy person. I'm worthy of being treated in a kind way. And if somebody screams in my ears, shouts at me, belittles me, doesn't want to pay me salary, then I'm sorry, it's not for me. And the Board of Education, if you want to have quality teachers, pay them a normal salary. A person with a master's degree shouldn't have less money than a cleaning person. We're in 2020 and teachers are very important. If you value teachers, pay them at least minimum wage, enough to be able to afford things like food and an apartment. I'm sorry, I can't come to work if I don't have enough money for food. And I'm not going to pursue a career that leads me into financial disaster. Peace, light, and love.